Hold on, stop. Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill. You want to be my wife?
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
What is going on? And welcome to Take on the World with
Johnny
and
Deb Dougherty
and
Nathan Blaze.
and this is a very special episode because this is our 150th episode. Yay!
I can't believe it.
I got the right button.
I do.
I didn't have to search for it.
Only took you 150.
You know what else I found? If I go over here,
You can do it from there.
I'm like you.
I didn't know that.
Technology.
Found that out today.
Technology.
Anyway, so I wanted to do something special. I wanted to have a past co-host on with us. Deb has co-hosted several shows with me. Nathan has co-hosted several shows with me. I want to give a shout out to Bob Butts, who has sadly passed. He co-hosted a show with me. I want to give a shout out to the ever-loved Sebastian McCool, Scott Cass, who has also co-hosted a show with us. The boys from Saipan,
Yes.
co-hosted a show with us.
Yep.
I forgot they were on one with you.
El Ray, who has co-hosted a show with me. Who else got a
Your daughter.
Lexi, who co-hosted many shows with us. And I want to give a shout out to Chase, who has co-hosted 2 shows with us. We did the cryptid show with him. And I want to thank all those people for being on the show and helping us get to where we are.
Anyone you may have forgotten.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I wanted to do this show just to say, you know, these are the people behind the voices. You know, what about us? Like, who are we? And now, usually me and John start off with a little banter. And since Deb and Nathan haven't been on for a while, what are you guys up to?
Wow. Well,
Deb, I'm going to start with Deb. She's older. Sit down, a young man, and just be quiet.
okay. Okay. I'll sit down. Shut up.
Because my life is just so exciting. I have so much going on.
Well, you haven't been on for quite some time.
Oh, so let me see. I'm killing myself slowly. I'm on a just recently approved chemotherapy drug
Come on, what a downer.
just to shrink tumors. I'm not unhealthy, due to cancer or anything like that. Of course, the pill makes you feel like crap. But let's see, what else?
I don't know.
I cannot wait for the fall.
What?
I can't wait for the fall. We're going on a cruise in
Okay.
November. Can't wait for that. July, I have a vacation coming up, long weekend, visiting family and friends. And I don't know.
Which makes my long weekend a long weekend as well.
Living the dream.
Me and Johnny will have to plan something that weekend, or maybe I'll go down to West Virginia, visit my boy Rob. Nathan, how about you, buddy?
Oh, you know, many exciting things, such as working full time,
He got a big boy job.
big boy job.
Now he knows it sucks.
Yeah. When do I get to retire? When do I get to stop doing this?
You only have 40 more years.
I'm waiting for your dad to hit the lottery so I can retire.
You mean 4, not 40,
No,
right?
40, 4D.
Like 0 as in nil?
Yeah, I wish.
Nil.
So I've been working full time. It's tiring. I think anyone who works a real job can agree. Beyond that, not too much. I had another surgery, but went well this time.
See, look, we're all full of happy, good news.
So this is turning into the depressing 150th episode.
No, I don't think it's depressing. I think, you live life, shit happens, and you move through, and we're all here. We're all together. We're smiling. We're laughing.
Anything else there, Nathan? Didn't you just make a purchase?
Oh, well, yeah, I purchased a electric bike, one of those electric expeditions. I got one of those, and currently I'm in the process of trying to figure out where it is because they created the shipping label. Shipping company said we'll give you news when we receive it, and it's been 12 days.
All your accessories for it came.
Almost all of them, yeah. They came a day early.
Is it coming from Ching Chang, China?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, for all I know, the parts could be coming from China, getting assembled in Arizona. I don't know. I didn't really look into that.
It said made in the USA, and that's where you stopped.
Yeah,
Okay,
pretty much.
there you go.
Hmm.
So you didn't really purchase it. Well, you paid for it.
Oh, he
but
paid
you
for it.
didn't get shit.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Nathan has the absolute worst luck when it comes to ordering stuff and it coming on time.
Anything that has
Absolute worst luck.
my name on it does not show up in time. I think I bought you a gift for your birthday, and it came in Father's Day of the next year.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yes, that was my Jedi torch. So really what I wanted to do is basically see... It's just hard to explain.
Well, make an attempt.
Thank you for leading me on, Nathan.
Everyone's waiting with bated breath.
Well, luckily, when I edit this, I have a program that takes out all the ums and pauses.
Oh, very nice for you. Very nice for you.
So everybody knows our voices and you see us. And if you're regular listeners, you know, well, probably more than you should know about me and John. But who are we? Who are we as hosts, really? And I think
I don't even think I can answer that.
True. But like, it's like when I go to a brewery, like I don't like people in general, but if I go to a brewery and I'm interested in beer and they're interested in beer, I like meeting those people.
You always say it, but yeah, you're like Mr. Mayor.
He's a chatty Cathy.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
You can talk to anybody.
I don't like people. Yeah, until you sit with a brewer in your hand. You just love them to death.
Well, I meet people who have the same interest and so if you're listening to us, you must have the same interest because otherwise we're not that interesting.
Well, I feel like if you're at a bar, you already have something in common, right? And plus you get a couple beers in you, more talkative. But say you go to Walmart, you're walking around, and that's when it really shows that we don't like people.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to avoid people with the plague. I'm rude. I'm like, hi, I'm trying to get by you with my cart. I'm like, fuck you, you bitch. And they thinking in your head, like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, I'm one of those people. I talk to everyone at the grocery. I am.
Really?
What's that commercial where you're turning into your parents?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes,
That's
definitely.
I am any one of those people. I will talk to anyone, anywhere. It doesn't matter. I'll find something in common and we'll talk.
No, that's not
Yeah.
me. That's not me. That's how I dislike
I can do
people.
that rarely. You gotta have them like in just a rare mood.
You see, I can do that anytime, but the issue is that people just give you the stink eye all the time now. It's like, okay, well, fuck you.
Right.
Whoa.
Like yesterday, I was at the grocery store. I had a 10-minute talk with some dude about the Parmesan cheese. Now, it was in the refrigerator section, so it's not the shaky cheese.
What's so fucking interesting about
It looked like shaky cheese. If it's in the refrigerated section, it should be, in his words, stringier.
I could talk 3 hours about beer, but what's so interesting about Parmesan
Oh,
cheese?
because it comes in all shapes and sizes. And I
There's
don't
a
want to have
lot
to
to know.
grade it, but I want it stringier. Stringier was a good word.
I
Not
don't
chunky,
think this one was
chunky.
aged long enough.
No, I want
Same.
one of the big wheels that you have to sell an arm and a leg on the black market to get. I want one of those, and I want to take the chisel and I want to just hack at it for 20 minutes just to get a little tiny piece out of it.
You want to hear the pop when they
Yes.
I'd actually love to go someplace where they had the big wheel of cheese and they crack it open, you get it fresh out of the cracked wheel. That'd be cool.
Did you ever see that place that does it's like a mac and cheese or Alfredo where they dump the pasta and butter right in the cheese wheel?
No.
And they just mix it up. And
I've seen a video of it, but I thought that was fake.
Yeah, who knows? Everything's fake anymore on the internet.
AI.
What are you drinking over there, Nathan?
It is a
It's a Baja Blast.
it's a Jarritos margarita.
Okay.
No.
So it's that Mandarin Jarritos, it's tequila, agave syrup, some lime, a little sour, but it's actually pretty good.
Just add a little more soda to that.
And me and Johnny are drinking the Edmund Fitzgerald by Great Lakes Brewing.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
It's a porter, and Deb is probably drinking water.
Sure.
Okay. Is that what it is? Okay.
Water.
You're shaking your head like it isn't?
Water.
Okay.
Water of fermented potatoes, perhaps?
Or distillated potatoes?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's a little lime in it.
I do want to mention that I'm a regular on Barrel Age Flicks now. I'm going to keep pushing Barrel Age Flicks because I love that podcast.
Yeah, they're great.
I love hanging with those dudes. They are the absolute best. Ron and Stu and
Super down to earth.
and Lenny and they're just cool as shit. I have so much fun with them. I get an opportunity every once in a while to go down to sit with them down in Virginia and do it live with them. Otherwise, I do it from the dungeon here. We just have a great time. If you like movies, you like hearing people talk about movies and getting drunk. And of course, we do this. We end up doing the same thing on that show as we do here. We go off on side tracks and
Sure. It's like a couple guys having a good time. And
Yeah.
talk about a topic. They probably do it better than we do.
well, I would say they're just slightly more professional.
Yeah.
Slightly more.
Slightly more.
But we never plan to be professional here. We always plan to be just us and
Yeah.
do our thing. All right. So,
Yeah.
Awkward silence.
well, me and Johnny can talk about what the show was like in the beginning.
Yeah, I
It-
remember.
It was kind of a shit show when we started.
You got mad at me once for saying that.
Okay.
Well,
now
I
you've,
know
you've adopted it. You love it.
the audio was terrible.
I didn't. She told me that the audio was bad. I thought it didn't sound bad until we
we disagreed about that for.
Yeah, we did. And John told me it was bad too. And then we upgraded to this soundboard, and oh my God, what
I
a
was like,
difference.
Yeah, crystal clear. I have noticed too, it's like some podcast, but they must have a digital board or something because it cuts out like if I stopped and I started talking again, that first like microsecond of the word is like cut out.
That's because of the editing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one thing I pick up on, and it's like
Because I don't like your voice. That's what it is. If we were more smooth in our speech, and
I've never noticed it on ours.
it happens.
No,
It's just like I use an AI to edit because it makes it go faster,
Of course you do.
especially with you.
Lazy.
It's a little lazy.
That was my favorite part.
It is
The editing.
it is to an
behind the
extent, but sometimes we say stuff that we just cannot allow to go out on the air, and it's just easier to
Yeah, edit it. That's what editing is.
press the button and let the computer edit it. Because this program will tell me this is way off topic. Do you still want this in? And I'll listen to it. I'm like, no, you can take that out.
Yeah. Well, the show would probably be 10 minutes long if you said yes every time.
Yeah, I know.
Just kidding.
So yeah, we had sound issues, and I think, well, I know the quality jumped way up when we fixed the sound issues.
And that's just part of getting your feet wet, learning it.
Yeah, you got to start, with your cheap $5 McDonald's Happy Meal microphone, and then you eventually work your way up to the Bluetooth microphone, and then hey, now you got a little soundboard. You can go in, change your levels, and all that.
I will have you know, Nathan, you are using the original microphones right there, right now.
Oh, you mean don't have those little plastic ones
No, we didn't.
from like the Stone Ages in the 90s?
We didn't have the little plastic ones.
I
Brat.
think that's the only thing we changed. And then recently you just got these two new.
Yeah, these are nice because they don't like if you touch these, it's like
They make noises.
these are you still hear something, but they're nice and smooth.
Well, you're going to.
So you and Deborah are using the original microphones.
We're
Me-
not good enough for good microphones.
Me and these were
We're just half-baked hosts.
these were a
Yes.
little more expensive, and so we upgraded to these microphones, which I really like, and we upgraded to the soundboard. But when I got the soundboard, we got the two new mics.
You need to cover that soundboard when you're not using
I
it.
do.
You're going to be dust in that.
I do cover it.
Yeah, you want to borrow my little
Yeah, he needs it.
table vacuum?
Actually, when I came down today, I noticed how much dust was on that monitor over there. Yeah, because one of the other things we did was I upgraded the monitors. So I have 3 monitors down here. I have my computer and 2 other monitors. So when there are 4 people at the table, which there isn't that much anymore, that's why we only have 2 microphones rather than spending extra money on microphones that aren't going to get used, Nathan.
That's fine.
But the monitors, that one was so dusty. It was crazy. It still is. If you turn it off, you see how much dust is on it.
From this angle, you can see it. It's like wavy on it.
Yeah. Well, because I tried to wipe it off with a tissue.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, with a tissue.
Yeah, I know.
Which has its own problems.
Yes, which you should never do. Do not. Microfiber cloth. But looking back at our episodes, Nathan, I'm going to go to you first. What was one of your favorite episodes, whether you were on it or not? Because I know you listen sometimes.
I listened to a handful of them. My memory's not too great, but trying to think. It's hard to pick a favorite of the ones that I'm not in because those are the ones that I remember the least. You're just not that memorable, I guess.
Yeah.
He's
Thanks
got
for the-
digs all day.
I don't know where he gets that shit from.
Oh, no, I have no clue. No idea.
Nobody in this house zings.
There's no zingers in this house.
But out of the ones that I can remember, which are the ones that I was in, I had a great time doing the origin of phrases.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
That was fun.
And not even just recording that episode, but the planning before it, being in the car and being like, oh, how about this one? Or,
Yeah, yeah.
or even the weeks, months after we're like, oh, we should have done.
This one, yeah.
I just had a great time with that. I think that was the first one that I was really in.
Yeah, it might have been.
And maybe that's why I remember that one so well, just because I was excited to go into a podcast for the first time. Because, I mean, I've been on air before.
On professional radio.
On professional radio. I was very professional.
You were paid lunch even.
Yes, I was paid in lunch.
So Nathan's technically a professional broadcaster like you, Deb.
He is, and when he would go to the fair with us, he was always paid in food.
That was the best part. That was the best part.
So me and John are just the amateurs here.
Novice.
Novice. Okay.
Savants, perhaps.
Because I don't even think you need a license anymore to work in radio. At one point, you needed a license. Like at one point, you had to take a test to get a license. Now, when I started, you needed a license, but you just had to pay for it. Thank God, because I was nervous. It had just changed over. So I want to say it was in the early 90s.
Would you have to know like certain FCC rules and stuff?
Yeah, and like some technical things.
Yeah.
God, I don't have a mind for
I think it's still like that, but there's so many different licenses now. I'm not sure. I know there's one where you can go on, you just have to create 2 accounts and take like a 10-question test and you get it, but that's for like little satellite radio.
Well, that might be for, engineering's different too.
Well, yeah.
I remember one of the questions for my ham radio license was like, how high must you erect your gin pole with a certain frequency, whatever signal? And I'm like,
let me look in the book quick.
Did you say gin?
Gin erect?
How many gin and tonics must I drink
before I'm not erect anymore? How about you, Deb?
Oh, I'm such a big fan of Cass. So, of course, any episode with Scott Casson would be one of my
so our AI episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny, you have a favorite episode?
I have a few.
We could pick one.
No, I'm not, because Johnny.
Of course. Johnny doesn't follow rules.
Yeah, I'll get with the AI one. That was really fun.
That was
very
fun.
Informative. And yeah, it was one of the first ones we did. It was in the flat earth. And I think you had to edit out about like
the first time we did it, or
45 minutes of me bitching about
coffee.
About coffee. Yeah, coffee. I was coffee and
Sargent. What was his name?
Mark Sargent.
Mark Sargent.
He's the leader of the flat earth movement. And
oh my God.
But the audio was terrible. And that was I like that one because you let me take the reins on that one. I actually did my research.
You did. Oh, pages of research, dude.
That was probably the last time you let you take the reins on.
I feel like I stepped on your toes because like you didn't get to talk as much. I pretty much hijacked the whole show.
No, I was okay. It was okay.
Yeah. But I like what it's become now. Like this works better.
John loves what the show's become. I take the reins. He gives me a topic.
Yeah.
I research.
He does all the work.
Because I like researching. I can't bitch about it.
Yeah, you can't deny it.
I enjoy the research. I research everything. I make notes, and then I
put it in a coherent order.
I bullet point everything, and then with my notes, I go back to AI and ask AI questions to double check my notes and to get more information. And then I try to read names, and John has to laugh at me and correct me.
Or I'll stump you and get something that you didn't think of.
Oh, yeah. He'll always come up with that one question. He'll jump ahead, and it'll be the next thing that's on the list. And then he'll give me that one question that I didn't research.
I'm better than I am. What can I say?
What? Dude.
Is it on the list?
I don't know. And then I feel stupid.
And then I would say probably more recent when we did the Everything Pennsylvania. We talked a lot about food and culture. And,
that was a decent one.
And then, like you said, Nate, we missed a bunch of stuff as we went on like weeks later. Wow, we should have talked about this. We didn't even think about that.
You can always do a part 2, part 3. And some of those topics are really great too, especially when you're talking about language.
Yeah.
You could do 1,000 episodes on that and never.
There's entire fields of research on them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and too, like I really like doing Pennsylvania stuff. Because we're from Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania has a ton of culture and history, and it's really fun to dive into, and you know.
Well, yeah, yes, in like our country, as far as world history, is relatively young, but at one time we were the gateway to the West.
Absolutely.
Like when the country was still young, everyone came here to go wherever.
Well, we just recently did an episode on how Pennsylvania steel, the steel industry in Pennsylvania, basically built America. And while we were doing it, I said, well, what other first in the Industrial Revolution came from Pennsylvania? And I came up with this long list of stuff that was the first in Pennsylvania, like the first oil well was in Pennsylvania.
Well, the first paved road was in Schuylkill County.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That wasn't on my list.
Probably hasn't been repaved since.
It probably has not. Neither have any other of the roads in Pennsylvania.
Well, that's why it's called Pottsville, because all the potholes.
Yeah, that's...
But yeah, I mean, no, we do have a very rich history as far as the history of this country.
So like John, I love doing stuff that's local in Pennsylvania. And we recently did the Molly Maguires and
Shambo's Tavern.
Yep, we did Shambo's Tavern, which is right over here.
I know.
You the one? Yeah, she's the one who gave me the topic, I think.
James Wasakalo wrote a book on it,
That's right? Yeah.
A local gentleman.
Yep. So, yeah, good. What else? Because you said you had a few. Keep breaking the rules. Go ahead.
That was a few.
Okay.
There's at least 4.
What about you?
I actually really enjoyed the one we did with Chase. the cryptids.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That one, I thought that because everybody who listens, and if you're not a regular listener, pay attention. I'm a skeptic. Like, I am strongly a skeptic, but Chase is a true believer, and he does have some skepticism about some of the stories he's heard. However, he makes a good case, and so does John. And it was fun having my skepticism challenged with two people who have had experiences, and we did 2 episodes. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
And since John broke the rules, I get to break the rules too. When we did the 2 episodes on our Colorado trip.
Yep.
Number 1, that Colorado trip was so much fun. And number 2, reliving it through doing the podcast and sharing those experiences with people who listen. That was fun. You know, I got to relive it again, and it was awesome. And then number 3, the AI episode with Cass is also one of my favorites because Nathan was on that. Was Lexi on that one?
She might have been. I think that might have been a full house on that one.
I think the table was full for that one, but that one, were you on that one?
No. We've known Scott for a long time.
Yeah.
And he is so interesting. He is, and you will say this, and his head will get like this.
I know.
But he is genuinely one of the smartest people you know.
I've always said this, and Scott, turn your radio way down for the next 30 seconds. Scott Cass is one of the most intelligent people I have ever met. And how many more seconds we have? And we're back. So
no, he is. So I kind of listen when he talks about something like that because he has experience in it as well.
I know. And like, I'm not a dumb person. I know a lot of things. But sometimes when I talk to him, I feel like an idiot.
I was actually nervous for that.
He likes it that way. Let's be honest.
I know he does. He loves it. He loves being able to correct me on stuff. And I'm like, fuck.
And you know what he's going to love that we're talking about?
Absolutely.
I do. Scott, love you. Always.
I miss him. I need to contact him more. It's been quite some time since we had a old fashioned and a cigar down at CI. So let's get together soon. Anyway, moving on. So Deb, you mentioned your radio career and you were a professional broadcaster for many years. And actually, when we were dating,
it was my first real big girl full-time job.
So tell me a little bit about that, like how that industry changed because you did it for 32 years,
something like that.
So
I don't know. When I graduated from college, the 2 things I did not want to do: radio and news. I remember you saying, "Want to do
this is not what I wanted to do."
My first full-time job, news radio.
But you were good at it.
I didn't like it. I hated it.
I'm not just saying this because we're close. I'm saying this because you were fucking good at it.
Because I'm nosy. Because I like to ask why.
Because you're detail-oriented, too.
I guess. I don't know. So I did that for a few years. And then when I first started, I did DJing, just spinning records. And we spun records.
But you had to time everything, too. Like,
back time. And math is not my thing.
I know.
But I can back time.
And you had, I'm talking for you, but because you're not going to give all the details. These are the things that were always interesting to me about what you did. And I don't know if I might have said this before, but you had to know the intro for the song, how long it was, how long the outro for the song was, and how long the song, whether it was a cold end, you had to know all that stuff. And
I don't like a cold end.
No, I do. And then you don't have to worry about fading.
To me, it was just amazing how, and I never knew that much work went into playing music.
I don't know what they're doing over there, but you both deserve it.
I didn't do anything. He just looked at me. Does that make me an accomplice?
You don't.
There are a lot of nuances to it if you do it right. And even if you go to a wedding, you know what I'm talking about. DJs at weddings do the same shit.
But the DJs now, their computer does it for them. They don't have to do anything.
Slackers.
Because me and Lovebug did it. I had a computer I had a program on a computer that would automatically do all of that. All I had to do was put the music in. Well, yeah, if I wanted it to, it would put the music in order to make it sense.
It's like that now on air too. I would. Well, and you talk about how the industry has changed. So at one point it was only AM, and then FM came along, and FM was like the ugly stepchild. Like the company I worked for, the family that owned the company I worked for, they were pioneers in radio. Like they jumped on the FM bandwagon right away, and really at the beginning of it, A.V. Tidmore was his name, and he was a visionary when it came to radio. And so he was at the forefront of FM. So at one time, we had an AM and an FM station, and at one time, the AM carried the FM for a very long time. And then FM came into vogue because it just is a better signal. It's a better quality sound. And then the FM carried the AM stations for a long time. And AM really went out of vogue for a while. You had an uptick there, like with the Rush Limbaugh show. He really did a lot for AM radio, politics aside, because I know you don't talk politics. But it doesn't matter if you love him or hate him. We're talking about an industry. He was a huge proponent of AM radio. So, and now everything's streaming. So what the future is of FM, I don't know, because I left radio just when all this was coming to the forefront. But it really has been a challenge for FM stations. And I don't know, like, I love radio.
I still listen to the Eagles on, what is it, 83.3?
Merrill Reese here.
Yes. And it's
the most annoying broadcaster in Philadelphia.
He was well loved.
Yeah, by Philly people.
But yeah, I don't know. So the industry changed so much. And even in radio, a lot of that is done through the computer. You don't have to worry about crossfading so much. You don't.
So the latter part of your career, you did
a talk show.
Okay. And it was mostly local events, community issues, and
politics. And I will tell you what, and after a 30-year career, that is the part I miss the most. You're going to make me cry.
But
mostly because it was interactive, because we took phone calls.
Right.
So there were no 2 days that were alike. If you're someone who gets bored at work, you couldn't, because you never knew what was going to happen. You'd go to that phone and you did not know who or what was on the other end of that one. And you had to be ready. Like, you had to be on your toes. And I don't look at myself that way, but I did okay.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I do miss that. I do miss the camaraderie.
What do you think people most misunderstood about what you did when you were in radio?
The number one misconception, that you make money. Unless you are a Rush Limbaugh or I'm dating myself, well, they all went to Sirius now. I don't know who are the big names now. I don't even know.
Howard Stern.
Yeah, but he's on.
He wasn't AM, was he?
No,
he was on FM. He was on.
But he's still a broadcaster.
But he's on satellite radio now.
I thought they shut him down. But I don't know. Anyway, they think you make money if you work local. You're not making money, and you're not a superstar. Like, people think you're like this superstar. No, I might be somebody in my local community, but because you're behind a microphone, you're not on camera. You wouldn't know me if I went out, because I never used my real name.
No, you're good. If you want, you can.
Well,
it's long past.
When you talk about never knowing what's on the other end of a call, or something really great about radio that I love, is you are in people's homes every day. They would turn that radio on while they're folding their wash, while they're making supper, whatever their day was, they had that radio with them. So you're in their home. So they feel like they know you. So we would go out places, and they always made fun of me because people would come up and just share their whole life story with me, because they felt like they knew me.
Yeah.
Because I was a part of their everyday life. Or I never used my real name. One time someone didn't like something I said on our talk show, and they made it a point to research me and my family and my kids. And like, that made me feel very uncomfortable.
Sure.
Because I might be in your home every day, but I sure as hell don't want you in mine.
Right.
But yeah, like, I do miss some of that. I miss the interaction. And it was just, I worked with a great group of people. Not that when you work in radio, there's big personalities, just like this. You guys are big personalities. So everyone's a big personality. So you work with egos, and you just, I don't know, you learn to love them. I was really blessed to work with some really great people.
So John, now you worked in corrections for 18, 19 years?
18.
Okay. And you do HVAC work. How do you, so I know how that industry has changed since I started. How has it changed since you started?
I feel like there's more of like a coddling of people. It's more like, oh, you'll be okay. It's okay. I know your feelings. You're hurt, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like Jesus Christ, they were horrible to me when I went through. Like, staff.
Now you're talking about from a jail perspective.
Yeah.
Not just the HVAC.
No, because the only HVAC I've ever known was at the jail. I never did it on the outside but you have to have or at least when I started, you had to have pretty fucking thick skin. Like, because people were testing you every day,
And it wasn't just inmates testing you, it was officers.
I would say more of my problems were with other officers.
Well, you were a special circumstance.
Yeah. I mean, I never really, more of my problems were all other officers trying to test me.
I tried not to do that because I went through some of that myself. So,
or they had a chip on their shoulder. And I'm like, hey, just like fuck with this guy because he's new.
yeah.
Well, that's everywhere too,
Yeah.
Okay. So
to some degree.
Nathan's the baby of the bunch. So his work experience is limited.
Very limited. I food service for like 7 years, I think.
Yeah, because you started there when you were 16.
And you were very proficient at cutting fries.
Yes, very proficient at cutting fries. I got plenty of experience. I had a whole system down. It was a science to me. But most people can imagine food service. I imagine most people have worked in it at one point or another. I'd prefer everyone worked at it at one point or another. And I think everyone would be a little bit more humble. But most people have heard the story. Nothing too special working in food service.
You also work with the public, so your perception of the public. What I'm getting at is I think everybody at this table has worked in service of the community in one way or another. Deb, in radio, that certainly officer service, especially the latter part of your career, was informational service. John and I have both worked in corrections, which is service in itself. I was in the military, and you worked in a retail restaurant service. And what I'm getting at is perception of people and how your working in the restaurant changed your perception of people, or altered your perception of people, or formed your perception of people in general.
Okay, well, I guess it taught me how to approach people, strangers, how to approach them. I can tell with a little bit more accuracy what kind of mood they're in or how to approach them. Because, I mean, everybody's different. But if someone's having a bad day, you can kind of tell if they're having a bad day from a distance with most people. And there's a lot of different ways to approach that. There's a couple that work for most people, but some people that sets them off. And you just get an idea of just who they are from the way they walk, the approach, they talk, if there's steam blowing out their ears. You can almost see it in their eyes.
Oh, I know where you learned that from.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it altered my perception of people too much because I'm a people person. I've always liked people. I've always been able to have a conversation with anyone. And in many cases, someone who did have steam blowing out of their ears, I've been able to just dodge or roll my way out of the heat and just maybe not calm them down, but at least stave them off for the time that I've been talking to them.
What about you?
What?
Because you approach the public in a much different position than him, like either giving information or trying to get information. How did that form your...
I don't know. I think I'm pretty naive when it comes to people. You would say that. Like, I'm very trusting when it comes to people. Like most people, thankfully, and I think Nathan has a similar experience to me. Most people have not given me a reason not to trust them. And that's a blessing. That's a good thing.
And I want to answer for me and John, because I've worked 37 years in corrections, and the industry has dramatically changed for me from the time I walked in the first jail I worked at through my career. It went from much more violent to, I think, more even-handed, to now it's like John said, it's very coddling and almost counterproductive to incarceration. I think there's a middle ground, and we hit that someplace in the mid-90s, late 90s, and it just started going downhill the other way because of what had happened in the past. Like, you went back to the 40s and 50s, it was brutal. The officers were brutal. The inmates were brutal.
Well, even at the beginning of your career.
Even at the beginning of my career, there was things that went on that I wanted no part of, because that's not the kind of person I am.
Well, you weren't.
What?
You weren't.
No.
And I think your career and the job has changed you as a person as much as it has changed as an industry.
Well, I was much more trusting before I worked in a prison. I said, I don't trust anybody anymore. Even if I'm sitting at the bar talking to someone about beer, even if I'm having that conversation, I try not to put myself in any position where my back's to a door, but if I'm sitting at a bar talking to someone about beer and there's someone I know to the left or right of me, I feel a little more comfortable. But I still, every time that door swings open, my head turns around.
That's situational, though, for you more.
Well, that's because of working in a prison.
Absolutely.
And
that's not so much a distrust of people.
It is, because I don't trust anybody coming in the door.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not the person sitting next to you.
Especially nowadays,
circumstance,
crazy shootings and shit.
Well, Nathan will tell you when we walked into the hockey game. What did I tell you? Where our seats were, Nathan?
Oh, is that when we were sitting right behind the
entrance?
The entrance, yeah.
We'd be the last people to get shot. Why? I explained the whole thing to him, and he's like, "You think that much about where you sit?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
And I'll even say, living with this guy for living with this guy for 23 years and just being around that constantly, you kind of start to pick up on the stuff, even if you're not zeroing in on it. Like, I try to avoid having my back to the door because of this guy, and not with perfect accuracy, but I can almost tell which seat he's gonna want as soon as we walk in.
I always just wait. I'll wait to sit. Now I'll wait till, they show you to it. They'll ask you want to sit here or there, and I just look. Ask him.
My favorite story was when we went down to Ocean City, New Jersey, when Lexi was working down there. We went to that little diner. It was about to close. It was empty. And I said, well, let's go someplace else. And the waitress said, she goes, no, you're good. You're good. And the cook popped his head out. He goes, oh, we don't shut everything off until 3 o'clock or whatever time it was. And I'm like, I hate it when I worked in a restaurant. I hated when people came in last minute. He goes, no, we're good. We're good. Nobody's going to get mad at you here. Have a seat.
You're definitely getting spit in your food.
That's it. He's going to hock in. And so she said, sit anywhere you want. So I looked around. I went towards the table, and Nathan ran right to the seat where he knew I was going to sit in. And I said, come on, bud, get up. Let me sit down. So he got up and moved. I sat down. The waitress came over to the table. She looked right at me and she said, CO or cop? I'm like, what? She goes, are you a CO or a cop? She goes, because my brother's a CO and my dad's a cop. And that's a seat they would have sat in. And
then we had a whole conversation about the death seats.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it to me, a lot of times it's subconscious. I scan a room when I go into it subconsciously. Like I walk in and I do it. Before I even get through the door, I start looking. And I know I'm doing it, but I don't know I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like I know I'm going to do it because I do it all the time, but I don't realize I'm doing it until after I started doing it.
It's part of your life.
Yeah.
It's funny is
but that comes from working in a jail.
Like just situational awareness in itself. Like I probably learned this from I know I did.
Zero.
But I still to this day, when I'm walking with somebody, I'm always behind them at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
And I don't like walking in front of somebody.
Nope.
To me, I'm more comfortable there. Or if I'm like, say I go to Walmart, I'm always like watching people and I pick up, like I said the other time, with like, I notice their shoes. I notice little things about them. Are they wearing a watch, a necklace? I don't know. It's just something I do.
Well, and as far as the walking, I subconsciously need to walk next to someone because a marching band being in formation. Yeah. And if I'm not next to them, behind them, my footsteps,
you'll match.
I'll match their footsteps, my pacing, my stride. I'll subconsciously match it just because it was part of competition band.
It's real fun to watch you and I walk together because we're walking into each other all the time.
I have a friend that does that. He walks real next to me. And I think that's why I'm such a slow walker is I'll slow down so I get behind you. And then next thing you know, I'm like, I could be at the boardwalk at the beach and I'm like 30 feet behind my family. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm a slow walker.
Nathan, you asked me something when we were down in Gettysburg. Why do I always put my hand behind my back?
Oh, yeah.
And it comes from 38 years ago when I was in the Navy standing at ease. You should put both your hands, and sometimes I do put both back there, but usually when I stop and I'm just standing someplace, I'll put my one hand behind my back because you're standing at ease. And sometimes I have both of them back there. It's something that kept with me for a long time.
That's where I got my piece.
No, it's always my left hand. Always my left hand. So like talking about stress and change and things that unexpectedly come up at work or whatever, how you deal with them. I'll start with John. Do you have a story that you can share from work that was stressful at the time, but like you sit back and laugh about now without naming names and places?
Yeah,
and people?
I got one pretty good. I went up on the roof. I was by myself and I was cleaning a condensing coil and I just finished making a repair to the copper. So I did like oil because it had a hole in it. And so I sprayed it with brake parts cleaner, right? And then I go to fire my torch and I set the unit on fire. I mean, it went up like 10-foot flames. And I'm like, holy shit.
I would love to see that.
And I ran over to one of the, we call them penthouses. It's just a I don't know what the fuck you call it. It's a room on top of the roof, the locked door. So I went in there and there's like water and the water heater and stuff is in there. And so I hooked up a hose. Thank God there was a hose right there. I ran back over and I'm spraying it and like the water's hitting the oil and it's not really going out. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to call this one in. I'm like, this is going to be really embarrassing. But it was a little sheer moment of panic there, but it finally started going out and, that was But that's kind of funny. I wish you could have seen my face running across the roof.
Did you get it out or did you
Yeah.
have to have someone come?
No. And this was before they had all the cameras and stuff.
That would have made an even better story.
Oh,
Not for
yeah.
you, but for everyone else.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of mine were like dumb shit that I did, like because I was new. And one time, what the fuck did I do? I was working the kitchen block. So this guy was out at work and it was rec time. So I just did group release and I didn't isolate his cell. So somebody went into his cell, took all of his court paperwork, ripped it up and flushed it down the toilet. And I was still on my 90 days. So I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. I'm fired. And then the guy came back from work and he's like, CEO, he's like, somebody took all my paperwork and flushed it. And I'm like, oh no. And then he asked me if he could use the phone. I'm like, go ahead. He's like, I want to call my lawyer. And I'm like, fucked up good, man. And, but he came back to me and said that, he's like, hey, my lawyer said he's going to send me new paperwork. No problem. He's like, I don't want to get you in trouble. And I was like, sweet. And he's like, you mind if I take a shower? I was like, go right ahead.
You go ahead and take that shower.
Take a long, hot shower, my friend.
Not everyone's bad. Some people just make mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I wouldn't say like everyone's good, but that's minimum block, medium block,
Yeah.
kitchen workers, whatever. I don't know what it was at the time.
So, Deb, you mentioned not knowing who's on the other end of the phone. You also don't know what they're going to say. So how did you handle unexpected things when they happen on air?
Jeez. I don't know. I don't know. Like something else takes over and you just roll with it. Like most times I used to, a lot more of that was the people I worked with. Like when we first started, I worked with Dave and Dave would just say stuff on air that I'm a very much, if I say something, it doesn't mean I don't change my mind about it later, but in the moment I believe it. I'm not going to represent an opinion or an idea that I don't believe. I can't do it. I mean, I guess I could if I wanted to. I just don't want to. But Dave would say stuff that I knew sitting there he did not believe. And you can't call bullshit on him. I just turned his mic off. I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to punch him in the face that day. It takes Nathan, you don't believe it, but it takes a lot to get me mad. And like I might explode like in the car and stuff, but to actually really be mad that I want to inflict pain on someone I know. So I shut his mic off and there was another mic. I ended up turning everyone's mics off and we had to go to a commercial break because I was so pissed off at him. I just wanted to throttle him. But no, I don't know. Something else takes over. You just go with it. And I was fortunate enough that I worked with, there were always three, at least two of us on. I was never alone. Not for very long. I mean, I've done pieces of the show by myself, but I've never fully done the whole 2 hours by myself. So it was fortunate that if I didn't know what to do, there was always someone else who would jump in or you just change the subject. You know, you hit that. And I can't even remember what it was called.
That's what I try to get out of John, but when I go quiet, he just goes,
oh no. And you get mad at me because you always say, you always talk over me. You always talk over me. But that's left over from that. Like you don't want dead air. So if it gets quiet, if you pause, like I feel like I got to come in and say something because you can't have that dead air. I'm not trying to talk over you. I'm just trying to keep the conversation moving.
So Nathan, I got a specific question for you because you worked in retail service, and I know you work the register sometimes. Did you ever have to deal with a Karen?
An irate customer?
A couple times.
How did you deal with that? Because you're a very calming person.
Did anyone ever yell at you and call you a blue-haired lesbian?
No.
Oh,
no.
Good. I'm glad.
So
I didn't say it to their face. I said it when I left. I was asked who was working.
The blue-haired.
I've had to deal with my fair share of irate customers, of irate people, and a smile and a good attitude goes a long way.
Does it?
That's the corporate answer. That's the corporate answer. I mean, for me, a lot of it's subconscious. I don't think about it. I am a little bit of a people pleaser, a little bit of a pushover sometimes. And with people like that, love that because they just get everything they want. But there's a few tricks about the way you say something, the exact words, and just being able to keep it moving along, because most people who are like that, they're impatient, but they don't want you to rush them, but they want you to get it fucking done. So you have to find this happy middle ground with getting it moved along. And sometimes it's just moving it fast enough that they don't have time to be mad at you. Sometimes it's moving it fast enough that they say, okay, I can calm down now. Things are moving. They're going my way. You gotta, in my position, be behind the register, just had to do the best to give them what they wanted. And sometimes that was handing over a free drink. Sometimes that was, Bill, grabbing your manager so that they could just have the manager, because black shirt with a collar versus red shirt without a collar made a huge difference. But yeah, and it's not the same for everyone. And sometimes you just have that person that's basically spitting in your face, and you just, all right, so that's a regular cheeseburger with pickles, onions, lettuce. No, I didn't say lettuce. I said mustard. I said, okay, I can correct that for you. There you go. That's fixed. That's mayo, pickles, mustard.
And lettuce.
And lettuce. Motherfucker, I'm going to strangle you. Would you like an extra fry with that?
Well,
Oh, they loved that. I stopped doing that. When I started, that got me into one or two dicey situations. So I learned when to put in, what corporate wants you to put in. And I learned when to.
well, I think you worked for. Can we say it? Can we say it?
No,
You can.
no, don't do that.
So okay, so Nathan worked in fast food, but higher end fast food, a little pricey fast food. But you always knew you were getting a shit ton of extra fries in the bottom of your bag, and you could shove the peanuts in your face while you were eating.
That's how you do it.
Like, I don't know this, right? Because they're not paying to be a sponsor of your show, so why give them?
I don't want to sue. I don't get sued.
No, so I think, and I got to tell you, I couldn't say nicer things about that organization.
Oh yeah, either could I.
I would love to name them if you know who they are. I at least, and I think the other difference is too, we live in a smaller area, so a lot of your customers are repeat customers. You have waited on probably 90% of them multiple times.
I would say if you could take 4 of your other friends and go get a burger and some fries.
Yeah, all 5 of you. So anyway, I don't know, as a corporate model, if you're working there, I think I would highly recommend someone send their kids there. I don't know if it's the corporate model or if it was just your manager, but I can't say enough nice things about that organization.
I think a lot of it was the manager. There's systems in place for them to do all kinds of stuff. Like, there's a lot in place for a fast food.
Yeah.
It might not be the best services out there, but the best that I can think of. And because I went through, 2 completely different crews. I was like the second longest employee there. So the first management, they were just there to be there, get the job done, go home. They weren't going extra mile. They were.
But your manager,
I would have walked into the cooler on some shifts. But with the newer management, they were very professional.
Yeah.
They were very kind. They went the extra 2 miles.
Yeah.
They just, I have no complaints about that crew.
No, if you needed cash, you'd go back.
Oh, absolutely.
And they'd have you. And I think, but when, again, going back to the point that it was local and you knew your customers and they knew you, and there's a magic to that you don't have in a city. One of my favorite things that I used to love to do was go into a city and smile at people. I have a friend who grew up in Queens, New York, and we used to talk about this because I would make her laugh because I would say that to her. If you say good morning to someone in the city, they're going to look at you like you just shot them, like they're very suspicious. In this area, you can do that. You can talk to strangers. You can say hello. You can smile, and 90% of the time you'll get a smile back. And I think that's a benefit of living local in a smaller community. So most of your customers knew you.
Yeah, most of the customers knew me, and I knew them. And when I worked there, I could give you their weekly order. And working there, I have no clue how some of those people would come in there weekly with how pricey it was. Because I always said, when people would complain about the price, I said, yeah, I know. I've watched our prices almost triple since I started here during COVID.
It's one damn good though.
But yeah, I didn't know all their names. Some of them I knew their names, but we never really exchanged names unless I was looking at their card when they were scanning it. But you're not going to do that.
No, that's weird. What would I do?
I was not being a Karen in the situation. My son paid for and pre-ordered a video game with his own money, and they thought they could take advantage of him by not giving him the special edition. And he went in to pick it up. I let him go in by himself. He was younger. And they told him, no, Dice, you can't have it. We don't have it anymore. Well, I pre-ordered it. Doesn't matter. We don't have it. And I went back in and they tried the same crap on me. And I'm like, no, you're going to get it for him. He pre-ordered it. The pre-orders mean something. If the pre-orders don't mean anything, why do you have pre-orders? And they're like, well, we just ran out. And the kid was like, there's nothing I can do. And honestly, it wasn't his fault.
It wasn't.
And I kept on saying, well, I want to see the manager. Well, give me the corporate number. And then he wouldn't give me the corporate number because he didn't want to get in trouble. But so I was pissed when I left. And our daughter used to work there and was friends with this person.
Who also became a very good friend of ours.
Yes.
And we joke about it.
We joke about it. And I was just so blinded mad that it was a dude. It wasn't a lesbian. It was just a blue-haired dude.
But he has pretty eyes.
He does. Anyway, so that's what that. But the end of the story is, since they wouldn't give me the corporate number because I love researching, I found a corporate email. The corporate email I got was their investor's email. So when I emailed them a scathing letter about how they weren't upholding the pre-orders, and eventually the store manager did call me, and he was an absolute dick to me. That's when I sent the corporate email.
But that wasn't the blue-haired lesbian.
That was not the blue-haired lesbian.
No.
So I emailed this corporate email, and it went to every single investor in the company.
But you didn't know that at the time.
I did not know that at the time. And I had corporate calling me, regional managers calling me, and then the manager of the store called me, and actually the manager of the store ended up getting fired. The assistant manager got promoted, and he said he would give up his personal copy of because it came with something special in the game.
Do you even remember what it was?
It was.
I happen to do remember.
He doesn't, though.
I remember the game.
What was the game?
It was
Dead Island.
Dead Island. It was a zombie game.
Why'd you tell him? He didn't remember.
I was trying to think of the name, but the special thing was the Weed Whacker Buzzsaw.
Yeah, it was the baseball bat that had a circular saw at the end.
Do you even have it? Did you ever get it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
No, it was in game.
It was in game, and I loved that game.
Oh yeah, it was when he was real big into Walking Dead. You can't do that on there. You can't crunch in your microphone on there.
That was my best episode.
Now you got it. Now you got to do a Malort shot.
I can do a Malort shot. I can do two.
So anyway, problem solved.
But that was my favorite episode. The one anniversary. What was it? The 100th? When you said you can't smoke on air.
No.
You can't talk politics or religion. And what did we talk that whole episode?
Yeah, did that episode ever air?
Yeah.
Did it go up?
It did.
Oh, I thought that one, we broke too many rules. I thought that one wasn't going up.
We broke them all. That's what rules are for. Rules are suggestions. I believe in the spirit of the law. I do not believe in the letter of the law.
So when we do this show, we don't have a niche topic. Like some podcasts do like certain things. They'll do true crime. They'll do whatever.
Movies.
This show was incepted on basically having conversations about whatever. And the topic is stuff that we would have talked about during those conversations, usually before we punched in or at lunchtime or sometimes after we punched out, just hanging out and bullshitting. And it'd be 4, 5, 6 guys just talking about whatever. And that's how this show was incepted. So when we did it, we didn't want to have a structured topic.
Right. Yeah. We were going to call it Shop Talk.
Yeah. Because that's what it was. It was
anything we would talk about, whatever, hanging out.
So, me and Johnny would go back and forth on stuff and other people would chime in, but it was usually me and Johnny just busting each other's chops and going back and forth. And so we were called Shop Talk. Somebody already had that name. Probably a mechanic or something. Stupid.
They're lesbian.
Not as fun as this.
Nice car.
So what I wanted to ask Deb was, when you were on radio, what kind of stories connected best with listeners?
Probably personal, like when you shared something, because like I said, you're in their house all the time. And both our kids were on the show. Were on with me at one point. Like when Lex was a little bit older by the time we started that show. But Nathan, we would go to the county fair.
I loved the trips to the county fair. All the vendors would bring something because they wanted to be talked about on air.
And so people loved it. And what was it? What was your segment? 5 Good Minutes with Nate?
Yeah. 5 Good Minutes with Nathaniel B.
And so one of the guys I worked with would bring Nathan on air, and he would just chit chat because he was young and Nathan's a special kind of person. If you know, both of our kids are special. Both our kids are great. Like we talked about this recently. I am Like, and I enjoyed radio. I'm not a person who needs to be the center of attention.
Why is she pointing at me?
I don't like that. But I am very, and I'm not one to say, oh, I'm proud we did this, I'm so proud of myself, blah, 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 blah. But what I am most proud of in my life is that I'm going to cry. We raised two people that I genuinely like as human beings.
If you cry on air, our ratings are going to go up.
I do. I genuinely like them as human beings.
Yeah.
I don't, like, I love our daughter, Lex. She is her own kind of person.
And she should be.
She is, like, we always talk about this. Lex is mini Mike and Nathan is more like me. So it's not that, I don't like or love one of my kids more than the other. My relationship with Nathan is easier because we're more alike. And Lex and I are more like my mother and I, and maybe that's the mother-daughter thing. Like, we're too alike in the same ways, so we rub each other the wrong way all the time. And that might just be a mother-daughter thing too.
It's rough.
But we raised two people that I just genuinely like. And if they weren't my kids, I would still like to have a conversation with them, pick up the phone, and, because Lex never picks up the phone and calls.
Hint, hint, hint.
But yeah, no, that's in my lifetime, that's the best thing I've ever done. That's the thing I'm most proud of, is raising two great human beings.
So personal stories.
Personal. Because you connect. It's how you connect. And that's the thing about being local. Like, that's the thing I love about radio over TV, over internet. It's low. And this, if there are still stations doing it today, if they're doing it well, they're going to be local, local, local. You have to connect. It's what joins you as human beings. When we did our show, we had listeners all over the world, people who used to live in our area who wanted that connection to home. They still listen on the internet. The station that I worked for does local high school games, football, basketball, softball, baseball. They want that connection to home.
Cool. So the next question is probably going to be the same for John and Nathan. We'll go to John first. So John and I went on a mission trip to Saipan. And besides all the fun we had, while we were there, we did a lot of work. So what was the most fulfilling thing about being there?
I would say just to see the joy in the people's faces, knowing that you were there to help them, like, get their life back together, and how grateful they were for that.
Yeah.
I mean, and they had nothing, and they would feed you. And, the first house we did, I got that tuna that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
And so I gave it to, I forget what his name was. And they made this big, huge meal out of it.
Yeah.
And we had a sit down dinner outside their house. And, that was very nice. And they didn't have to do that.
Nope. No, they didn't. And I can share a similar story. We were in Saipan the first time.
Oh, you were in Saipan?
Yes, twice. When I was there the first time, we finished a house. We did the entire house. And the last day, the family wanted to do something for us. And the family had nothing.
Yeah.
But they came out and they put this spread of food out that you would not believe. And it was all local. Like, when I say local, it's not you went to the restaurant and had the restaurant brand. This was homemade local food. And it was so freaking good. And I felt so guilty eating it because I knew they had nothing. But they said, don't worry, there's plenty here. Whatever you don't eat, the neighbors will come and we'll have a meal with them. And it was just awesome. And now, when we went back, I went to the house.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I went with you.
Yeah. And I had the bigger beard when I went back, and she's looking at me and she says, Mikey. And she comes out, she gives me a big hug, and went and talked to the family for a few minutes, introduced Johnny. And it was just, because she told me when we were there the first time, she goes, if you come back to this island, this is your home. And, to be accepted like that, when we were on the island, we were considered locals because we were there helping.
Yeah, they even gave us the rundown of what they're like we wanted to get those shirts that we got. And they're like, go to this place up in the woods in the mountain.
Yeah.
And it's like, you tell them you work for MDA or whatever. And like, they were cool to us. So I don't think it's a place like tourists know about or go to.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. And then we got them awesome freaking shirts.
Yeah.
With the
not Magus.
Yeah.
Magnus.
Was it 670?
Yeah.
670 strong.
Code.
Yeah. With the area code on it. And oh yeah. The guys who were unloading the truck, I'm like, dude, where'd you get that shirt? I love that. And he goes, hey, I'll tell you, because you guys are here helping us. You're considered local. This is for locals only, but you go up there, they'll take care of you. Tell them I sent you. They'll take care of you. and they had like, because you're in the South Pacific, you have like Samoan sized people there.
Yeah.
And they had like 9 and 10 extras. I had no problem finding a shirt my size. That was so cool. So Nathan, same thing. You went to North Carolina twice for flood relief, and I know we had some fun down there, but we also did a lot of work. So what was your impression of that? Because those were your first 2 mission trips.
For me, because I've been doing volunteer work for a very long time. For me, I've always found just doing the volunteer work, helping people out, very fulfilling. As much as I am lazy and don't like doing hard work, I genuinely enjoy going somewhere and volunteering and helping out. And it just warms my heart inside to go and help out people who are in need and just help improve their living and their daily lives.
Look, all joking aside, this kid busted his butt the first time we went. He busted his butt the second time, but it was a little bit easier for us because of what we were doing. The first time we wired an entire house, and we were going through drilling through beams and crawling over stuff, and
this is work that I've never done before because I don't do a lot of manual work. Ever since I stopped working in food was the most manual work I ever did.
Outside of Scouts.
Well, outside of Scouts.
And he was dead tired by the end of the day. And
but yet you found a way to go to breweries.
Well, that's the fun. Well, when you're dead tired, what's better than a cold beer?
Nothing.
But he never stopped. He didn't complain. He just kept doing the work, and I was so proud of him. I'm proud of him anyway, but I was so proud of him for accomplishing the work that was given to him and not whining about it. Like you could, sometimes you give him something to do, you could tell he doesn't really want to do it.
Well, yeah, I know what that looks like every day.
But you didn't get that look there. It was like, okay, like he was preparing himself to do it and then doing it. No, it wasn't.
I bet you wish you could see that on the daily, huh?
Mm-hmm. Like when I say, these dishes in the sink.
So my first mission trip, I went to Alaska, which was really, really cool. But I remember when we were there, it was, we framed 4 houses in the first 6 days we were there. And they were truss framed houses. And we had a machine. He would pick up 3 trusses at a time. I was doing the rigging, and they'd set the trusses down, and you have 6 people up there leveling the truss, putting it in place and doing everything. So we had an assembly line going, so that's what made it so quick. But we were doing the one house, and all the people in that town were living 150 miles away because the whole town was flooded. And we're doing this one house, and there was only a few people in town, and this guy was driving by. So there was someone there collecting sewage in a sewage truck and then delivering water because there was no water or sewage. And this guy's driving by in the water truck, and I think it was a different truck. I don't think they did it just both in the same truck.
Like, I hope not.
So
now, which valve was it again?
Oops. So he's driving by in his truck, and he's excited in the cab of the truck, and you hear him say, "That's my house. That's my house." So we go over to the truck, we start talking to him, and it turns out it's his house. It's being built, and he was so excited to see work start on his property. And we ended up getting some pictures with him. All the houses are on stilts, and we asked him if we could sign the beams underneath. So we signed the beams, and then everybody that came after us also that worked on the house signed the beams underneath his house. And at the end, he sent somebody a picture of all the names in the finished house. But before I went, I had made a blanket, and I wanted to leave this blanket with whatever family didn't have anything anymore. When we got there, all their stuff was under a tarp on the ground from inside the house. Whatever they could carry with them to Fairbanks, they took with them. Everything else was under this tarp. So when I left it with the director, and I told the director, when they come back to town, I want you to give that family this blanket, and just let them know it's from one of the workers. I don't want to say it was from me. Just tell them one of the workers who wanted to leave something for one of the families. And I got notification that they did give it to the family. They were beside themselves with joy, and like that was that moment is why I wanted to keep doing them.
Yeah, and I think the thing that you have touched on here, God, you're gonna make me cry.
Again, ratings go up.
This is what it's like being postmenopause. Just you touched on it. People who give out of nothing. You talk about a religious thing, but the widow's mite, and that's what it was. People who have nothing but are willing to give the last of it to someone else. There's nothing more beautiful. There's nothing. I don't even know what you call it. But to me, that's people. That's what I see when I see people. I've been fortunate enough not to see the side of people that you see, but to see the side of people who, when we went to St. Croix, I was so bored because when I was with Mike, he wouldn't let me do anything. I could hand him drills. I could read. Anyway, one day I went with my uncle and the other team, painted a freaking roof at the equator. When the hell would I ever get on a roof, period, let alone with paint and paint a roof? But, again, you see poverty, not just, it wasn't even poverty really, because these people were wealthy in other ways. But what they had been through, they were not anywhere near being whole yet. But they would share with you. They would just give out of nothing. They put a tarp. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
They put a tarp on the roof of this elderly woman, and she was just so thankful she had these fruit trees in her house. She went out and picked fruit off these trees, tropical fruits, like stuff I don't know what a sweet apple was, but it was delicious.
It's good.
And she had said, "Oh, I wish the mangoes were in season now." I mean, just human nature can be so beautiful.
The thing about, she was trying to get her roof repaired, and she was denied. And we were there, and Uncle Dave was with us, and someone else was with us.
Billy.
Yeah, Billy. And
Chris and
the director was there. No, Chris wasn't with us. There was only 4 of us, and then the director.
Oh, when we went over to that?
And we went over to that house.
Okay.
And when we got to that house, the director says, "Well, unfortunately, you're not approved for a roof." And like, you could tell how upset she was. She wasn't going to get a roof, and she needed one. And there's young guys right across the street working on a
getting
Jeep.
their surfboards. I will never forget this. There were 2 dudes in a Jeep with their wetsuits on and their surfboards. And here these people came from halfway around the world and put a tarp on this woman's roof.
So me and Uncle Dave and the director said, look, we were telling the director, "Well, can we just tarp it? Like, we have the tarps. Can we tarp the roof? Like, at least give her a dry house." And the directors finally said, "We'll do that. We'll, if that's the least we can do, we'll do that. We have plenty of tarps. We'll do that." So we tarped the roof before we left. And she was just beside herself, happy that at least, if nothing else, she got a tarp on her roof.
And I think, and that's not anything against these. So what these organizations do is they go in, they have a list of homes that they have to survey. And there's only so many groups. There's only so much time. There's only so much money. And they have to triage these homes. And for whatever reason, so when you have mission groups go in, sometimes you have days off. You have days off. But you don't take days off. You say, okay, what do you have on your list that couldn't get approval? Because they all have names, homes, people on their list that were denied for whatever reason. And these mission groups, all of them, to a fault, will go in on their days off and do what they can to help someone, because that's what they're going there for to begin with.
And that even happened when we were just down in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, the one guy, we were sent there just to do the drop ceiling.
Yeah.
But his roof was peeling up. He had inside the house from water coming in. He had damage to the particle board underneath his carpeting, and it just giant hole in the middle of his bedroom.
They gave us permission to take extra pieces that were just like offcuts and whatever, and make the repairs that were needed. And whoever did his roof didn't do it right. Like, it was not done right.
Because they're not professionals doing the work.
Yeah. So
9 times out of 10, they're just someone who wants to help. And sometimes they don't know how.
Yeah.
So it's not a fault. It's just, it is what it is. And if you're lucky enough, like, you work for an organization, and I don't mind saying Team Warwicksburg. Team Warwicksburg is a local mission group in our area who've been all over the world, who do tons of work locally. Look them up, Team Warwicksburg. They do projects all over the world. If you're local, go to one of their meetings. Look them up, because it's an aging group, and they do a lot of great work everywhere in their local community, first and foremost.
Nathan's the youngest member.
Yeah.
But it's
by
not,
far.
and it doesn't matter. You got a Team Warwicksburg in your area. I don't know where you're watching this from, where you're listening from, but you have one of these groups in your area, at least one. If you don't, you have churches in your area. Every major denomination has response teams.
Right, because when I've been on how many trips now? Like 5. And with the stuff with Team Warwicksburg, we've done like 7 different bridges throughout Pennsylvania, West Virginia. No.
That was northern Pennsylvania.
We've done northern Pennsylvania up by the New York border.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when John and I went to Saipan, it was Mennonite Disaster Services. When Nathan and I were down in North Carolina, that was Baptist Disaster Response. When we went to St. Croix, that was Lutheran. And
Umvim. In Alaska, it was Umvim.
And when I was in
Methodist.
Alaska, it was Umvim.
You actually have the pencil right there.
Oh yeah, Mennonite Disaster Service pencil right here.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't have to be a member of the church.
No.
You don't have to be a member of whatever.
You don't necessarily have to be religious to do it.
No. All you have to do is want to help people.
So find one of these groups. If you have the heart to do it, if you find one of these groups and volunteer your time. I've gone down.
Fun. You get to meet all kinds of neat people or different people.
I've gone down to Reading and done like
Sandbags.
I've done day work with Habitat for Humanity. Just they needed extra people. They put a call out. I went down. I didn't know anybody there. I was the only one there. It was just me.
No, and I think some of these groups, like the group you work with, Team Orwigsburg, they have professionals who know how to do some of this stuff. Not every volunteer team has someone who knows correctly how to put a roof on. They don't have an electrician or a plumber there who are licensed and know the right way to do things.
Right. And if you have those licenses, that helps a lot.
Volunteer.
Like Nathan and I, we ran electric. I know how to run electric, but I'm not an electrician. I won't tie into a box because I'm not an electrician, but I can run outlets. I can run lights. I do switches. I can run everything back to the box. I know how much stuff can be on a circuit. I know how to figure all that out, but you need an electrician to double check that work or overlook that work. And, they don't have to be on that, but they can, if they're there at that time, they can oversee 6 or 7 jobs. So look, volunteer your time. It's
totally off topic, but it's a good conversation.
It is
better than doom scrolling.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap this up, but I'm gonna do a little rapid fire around here quick. Ask you a few questions. Answer as quickly as you can.
Under pressure.
I'm gonna start with Nathan. Best movie of all time.
Wrong question to ask me.
Answer.
Best movie of all time.
You should have given us these questions ahead of time.
One of the Star Wars.
One of the Star Wars.
Yeah, one of them. I'm a huge nerd. Back to my roots. That was one of the first movies I can remember watching. So they're special.
Okay. You can't put your finger on one.
No.
Okay, I'll accept that. John.
Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck. Great movie. It was just on the other day.
Can I change my answer?
You could change your answer.
Waterboy.
Deborah.
Labyrinth.
Okay. That's a good movie.
Nice.
Or Legend. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan, but if there's a movie that I've watched over
Legend.
and over.
And I'm going to go with a prison movie, Shawshank Redemption.
Nice.
I love Shawshank Redemption. And one of the reasons I like it so much is because I actually read that as a short story in a Reader's Digest book of short stories. It was called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption.
Isn't that, what's his face?
Stephen King?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite meal after a long day, Deb?
Chicken parm.
That was easy.
You know.
That was
You
easy.
have to ask.
John.
Pizza.
Nathan.
Loaded French fries.
I am a good burger.
Yeah.
Thick burger. Most useful skill you've learned on the job.
Dealing with people.
Avoiding people.
Nathan.
Dealing with people.
And mine is also dealing with people.
Okay. You learned that?
I have legendary IPC skills.
Yes.
Interpersonal communication skills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Legendary.
Legendary.
What's your address? Because I will burn your fucking house down.
Legendary. The points across. Describe this episode in one word.
Eclectic.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Conversational.
I say fun. I had a good time.
That's what it's all about.
A career lesson that you wish you had learned earlier in your career. I'll go to Nathan first.
No, I'll say I learned it, but I don't always practice it. Don't fucking stress so much. Like really, my last employer when I left, I'm going to cry again, said to me, you're an asset no matter where you go. As an employee, if your employer doesn't see you, doesn't know that you're an asset, don't stay. You're an asset. I'm an asset. And sometimes I'm an ass.
I'm an asshole wherever I go.
I am an asset. You are an asset. And if your employer doesn't know that,
You're not in the right place.
you're not in the right place.
John?
Being naive.
Nathan?
Self-confidence at work.
Okay.
I'm-
Go ahead.
I would. You want to elaborate? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I'm always paranoid at work that I'm not doing a good enough job, that I'm not doing the right thing. I'm always paranoid about that at work.
You just looked down at some paper on your desk with your name on it. and you're doing a good job.
Just ask your mom. She'll tell you since you work with her.
Yeah.
You're not doing that right. Well, I have to do your job again.
To do your job, okay? I'm here because y'all can do your job.
Why don't you just tell me all the things I do wrong on my commute to work?
Well, I will, happily.
I don't. I know it.
But
You're an
I don't-
asset at work.
I don't have confidence in my own decision making at work. I'm always asking questions.
There's nothing wrong with that. That is
Repeatedly.
also an asset.
And that is what my previous employer has told me, that do ask questions. That is important that you ask questions. Your boss would rather you ask questions than do something and do it wrong.
Mine is, I wish I could have learned to control my temper earlier in my career.
But at home, outside of work, you don't fly off the handle at work all the time. All the time. You probably.
I think it goes like every once in a while. And I think the younger you were, the more it happened.
Right. And then as I got older,
Right.
I was
It kind of
controlling it better.
You probably
You're kind of
more
thins down.
outside of work than you do inside.
Probably because
You're getting paid not to.
it's stress. The stress builds up, and because you can't, in our profession, do it all the time, you have to take the shit that's shoveled on you.
You can't do it at work. It doesn't matter. I mean, not. And I don't have a job that's stressful in the way that you guys have a job that's stressful. My job is stressful in other ways, but it doesn't matter what it is. You can't blow up at work like that, and you know that. You know what's expected of you, and you fulfill it.
Now I'm in the Zen zone.
Yeah, you're in the Zen zone.
Last question. What's one thing your career taught you that you'd like to pass on to the next generation? I'll go to Nathan first. Well, Nathan isn't old enough to have.
I think it's the same thing, though. You're valuable, and don't, for God's sake, don't take it so seriously. Like,
You should listen to yourself.
I think I'm a person. When we Mike and I are the same generation. John, you're a little bit younger, and Nathan's even younger. But when we were coming up, it was a different. You didn't job bounce the
No.
way people change careers, the way they change employers. I think that's a better thing. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Don't be afraid to make a change. I don't know.
Okay, that's good, Johnny.
What was the question?
One thing. What's one
Oh.
thing your career taught you that you'd like to pass on to the next generation?
Think before you act. No, I don't always practice what I preach, but
But you don't want to end up.
it would
where
have
you
saved me a
work.
lot of broken bones or cut fingers or just things broken things, monetary things.
Or I think even worse than that, though. I mean, like when you think about where you guys work, people make mistakes. I always used to tell our kids this: you're going to do stupid things. That's okay. Just do them wise enough that you and everyone else with you come out the other side. You're alive, you're healthy, you're well. Make your mistakes, but just come out the other side.
Nathaniel, youngster.
I am the next generation.
Right, but
But you got kids below you
Yeah.
who've never worked, who've never held a job.
so take what you're learning now. You're going to learn a lot more.
Sure. But
Is
right
there anything right now that you would say, I would give advice to the next person coming along younger than me?
You don't need to grind yourself down, break your bones and all of that, but do put in some effort, because when you are a person who at least puts in some effort and maybe goes the extra mile here or there, and you're able to communicate efficiently with the people around you at work, then they will have your back. You'll be able to find people that at least be able to have your back every now and then, and that makes the job much more bearable and makes it easier for you to do that extra stuff.
The major thing I learned, you can do any job. And I tell my current employer this because I went from most of my adult life working part-time because we were raising our family. And I was fortunate enough to be in a situation where I worked part-time so I could be there for our kids. I never had to tell our kids, you got to do that alone. You got to come home alone, or no, I can't make that meeting. I can't make this. I can't make that. But you can do anything for 32 to 35 hours a week. We need to normalize the 35-hour work week. And every HR meeting I'm in, every meeting with my supervisors, I always say that you need to normalize the 35-hour work week. You want a better attitude from your employees? Only make them work 32 to 35 hours a week. Fuck you, Ford. What Ford company? What's his name, Nathan?
Harrison.
No.
What?
No,
Henry.
Harrison Ford. Henry Ford. Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford's an actor.
Whole new movie. Speaking of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. No, Henry Ford standardized the 40-hour work week. I don't know, maybe it was 80 before that, but he should have gone for 35. It's a sweet spot. We need to normalize the 32 to 35-hour work week. So next generation, work on that. Your work-life balance will be so much better.
Okay.
Telling you, it's true.
The one thing and I'm going to speak for my occupation, and I've given this advice to people, and only one person has taken it.
Did you know?
That I know. I gave him the advice. He took the advice, and he's no longer working at the prison.
That's not John. You don't listen to him, John. You don't listen to a fucking thing he says. You're just like his wife.
The
He
advice
probably calls you Deb.
The advice is, if you get into working in corrections, you will know within 2 months if you are able to be a corrections officer, because not everybody can. It's not a job for everybody. It's not a job suited for everybody. I just happen to be well suited for it. And if it's not suited for you, don't wait. Get out, because you make decent money. Where we work, we have really excellent benefits. And once you're hooked into those for so long, it is very hard to leave it. And then you're there and you're miserable.
I give that the 2 to 5 year period. Before the 2 years, it gets its hooks into you.
Yeah. Well, I say sooner, because you'll know before that whether the working at corrections is for you.
Well, right. But like still, you might be able to do the job and hate it. But once it gets its hooks into you.
Yeah.
You know what? Life is too short. And there's a commercial out there right now that talks about time. And, on average, you only have 76 summers. Think about that. This is my 56th summer. I don't have too many summers left.
Why do you have to make my podcast so depressing?
Why does it have to be about death? I told you. Don't think those stupid thoughts.
Think about it. The other commercial that gets me every time is, we talked about this, Ancestry.com. You know so much about certain people throughout history, certain actors, actresses, events. You don't know anything about your own family history. These are the things at 56 that make me go,
Do you know what the one that gets me?
Come on. I don't.
This is what gets me. There's going to be a last time that you pick up your child and hold them. There was I don't remember when it was. There was a last time I picked Lexi up and held her. And there was a last time I picked Nathan up and held him.
Oh, you're going to pick him up and carry him up the steps.
Yeah, let's make that right now. Come here.
There was a last time that Lexi sat on my shoulders.
Yeah.
I don't remember that day, because at that day, I didn't know it was the last time. That's what I think about. And that makes me want to tear up. And now our ratings will go way through the roof.
If you cry, forget it. You're going viral. Do it.
No, just with anything, with family or whatever. There's just...
You made me weep on that one.
There's gonna be a last time you do anything in your life, and you should cherish every time you do it.
Absolutely.
So as we end, go take on the world and cherish every moment doing it. Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials.
Wow. Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill. You want to be my wife?
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.